Welcome to Keep It 99 Straight to Streaming, in which we watch some movie that we missed. That was straight to streaming. On Paramount Plus, we have Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Us. I am, of course, joined with the one, the
Honor among
only,
thieves.
Honor
Among
Among
us.
Things.
That was sus.
I'm trying to get the algorithm. So
There
I'm
you go.
gonna put Valkyrie Among Us and who else played Lily Pichu and all that. I'm joined with the scumbag himself, the one and only Afro Company 765. How you doing, Daytore?
You already know. Your local neighborhood scumbag here to give the folks their daily dose of dirtbag. Same dungeon, different day. You know
Uh,
the vibes.
let's get into it. Yeah, we got Honor Among Thieves, Dungeons and Dragons, in which Tori plays weekly. He saw it while he was playing.
I am a fan of Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, they hit all the little tweaks. They did a good job by not overdoing it. They put us in Everwinter. Um, we got talks of Baldur's Gate and all the other little hallmark moments. It was really good. There was an owl bear, folks. Let's
We,
go.
we did see Albert. We had of course Edgin Holga, played by Michelle Rodriguez, Egan played by Chris Prine, Forge, played by Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant always amazing actor. Zinc played by Reggae John Page, and we had Simon played by Justice Smith, and we had
Who played the tiefling?
I don't see them on there. We had Dork played by Sophia Lewis.
That's the tiefling.
Oh, I didn't even know it.
Tiefling's her race.
Oh, I was just all that I thought was like Druid. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I
She
was just thinking
she
about
was a
Druid.
druid, but tiefling's why she had the
Oh yeah.
horns and the ears
Uh,
and whatnot.
Kira was played by Chloe Coleman, and Sophina was played by Daisy Head, which she did a
She
great
played
job
an
as the Red Witch.
amazing Thayan, bro.
She
She
did.
she murdered it. The
Jason
red
one
wizards
played
are not to be
Drelis.
trifled with.
Yeah. So basically, the movie is Edgin was going after the tablet of
Reawakening.
yes, Reawakening. Even though we did get Tablet of Riches and every other name for
Yeah.
it throughout
He
the
basically his wife was killed by the Thayans. He sought out to get a magical item to bring her back from the dead. Because nothing can revive you from a Thayan's blade besides freaking the tablet of reawakening.
yeah, so they was on the way to find it. Of course, he created a little team that we mentioned. Of
You gotta have your party right, folks. If the party doesn't work, you won't get far.
yeah. He's the planner. Holga like the muscle.
He was also a bard, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
Shout out to him.
yeah, and we had Simon, who
Yes,
is
the sorcerer.
yeah, and we had Hugh Grant by Forge. Forge
Yeah,
was the scammer. He was the
yeah,
trickster,
yeah. He was
con
the
man, con man.
wait. He was the rogue, folks,
Yeah,
but
he
not the
was.
knifey kind, just like the scammy kind.
Yeah, so they had the team.
Oh,
They
no, he did pull out a knife on the girl. So rogue, folks.
yeah. So basically, what they did, they went for the tablet. Well, they started off in jail and they was explaining the story. And they was asking where the Birdman was.
They were
Jonathan. Yeah,
Jonathan with his Jonathan. Why?
he's like, he's like, where's Jonathan? He's like,
we
Jonathan don't have
really
to be.
need to. We really need to wait on Jonathan. We do.
Like, we really need to wait on Jonathan. And he's like, why do you care about Jonathan? And then and then he would tell the
Oh,
story,
he's a bird man.
yeah, and then he kept like, we really need to wait on Jonathan. He's like, why do you care about him? His vote don't really even matter like that. He's late. He got something to do, and so
He tells the story of
and he randomly stops through while he's telling the story about his
of
wife.
course stalls the whole way through.
Yeah, and then like you already said that. Then, oh, let me get back to my play. Tells the story of them going to Tabula Awakening, and of course, Sophina would put them
The
in like a
saying whore.
yeah. She basically puts them in like a little trap bubble with
She
time
hit him with
stop.
the time stop,
Yeah,
folks.
because they somehow their plan was exposed because Edgin um touched the little wire from the awakening, which alerted
The
everybody.
trip wire that was on it
Yeah,
got broken. He didn't
yeah.
see it. Set off the alarms.
And by the way, we found out throughout the movie that somehow Forge is and are specifically placed where it don't affect him as much.
He managed to be just outside of the radius. It was a very precise placement of the spell, which is a little nuance that they threw in that actually
Uh,
comes from Dungeons and Dragons. If you play Dungeons and Dragons, you know spell placement is very important. There is nothing worse than thinking you're finna roll and you're finna smash the enemy, and then your teammate accidentally got caught up in the blast radius. Now
yeah,
they're making a deck save too, and they're horrible. It's a wizard or something. Trash dexterity. Of course, they're going to fail the saving throw.
yeah. So Sophina basically does the little time stop and it gets everybody called. But Forge is away, so he tells Forge to take care of Kiana,
Yeah, Kira.
Kira, and he throws the thing to it and said, "Take it to Kira, and we're gonna be good." And so he does it, and he's telling this story, and then he tells this little side story. He says, "Jonathan should really be here for this part," and they're like, "We don't care about Jonathan." And he essentially says, "I'm a bad father, and I have one regret that I didn't spend time with my daughter. But if you let me out, I will make up for my entire life making up for my mistake."
And then Jonathan came in, everybody.
No, they stamp it, and then Jonathan comes in like, "Jonathan, you're here." And then Holga beats up everybody, and he grabs Jonathan, and him and
And
Holga.
here's the twist, folks. They were going to give him his pardon.
He said, we're giving you your pardon."
They rode Jonathan out of there like a bat out of hell.
Hey, the black lady said, "Jonathan, no."
Ah. Oh, poor Jonathan, man. He was trying to do his job.
They jump out the window, and then Jonathan, they had they had to remind
Oh,
Jonathan
they
that he can
made
fly.
Jonathan fly him to safety. Oh.
Jonathan was sitting there. Jonathan was sitting there like he was at first he was just screaming like, "Can't you fly?" And then Jonathan like, "Oh," and he
Oh,
started
you're
flying.
right.
And then he lands on his face.
Jonathan is a giant falcon man, by the way, folks. Just in case we didn't impress that upon you.
Yeah, and he falls on his face. Bam! And he's like, "Oh, is he breathing? He's good." And then he walked out after they got free, and then he goes back home and finds Forge. And Kira is acting very strange to him.
Yes, Forge has also become the
What's
Lord of God dang is it Neverwinter? I think that's what it is.
yeah,
Or
he's
It's Everwinter or Neverwinter.
let's see, Forge. I think it was
Find out what city he became the Lord of. It's one of those iconic Dungeons and Dragons places.
let me see where it is.
It's whatever one the book was. There was a book named after it.
Neverwinter, the new Lord
Yeah,
of Neverwinter.
Neverwinter. I knew it was either Neverwinter or Everwinter. I wasn't sure. Neverwinter. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's Neverwinter Nights was the game.
yeah, and Edgin basically was sitting there like, how did you become the Lord? He like the Lord got sick and everybody started liking me.
Yes, the Lord just happened to got sick because my right hand lady happens to be a Thayan Red Wizard in disguise.
so Edgin comes and they figure out Kira's upset. And
Because
then
Forge lied to her and told her that it was the tablet of riches and not the tablet of reawakening.
he left her for money, and she was upset that her dad left her for money. And she can't trust because he's always lying. And truth be told, he do
He does
hold stuff.
lie his ass off.
He does be lying. So basically, she's upset, and they start on a journey, and Sophina puts him in like a little sand trap thing where they get stuck on the ground.
Yeah, she hits
And
him
then
with
they
the
gave him to the
decay earth
worst guards
spell.
ever, to end them. And then they don't because she hit him with a brick after sending. Wait,
Wait,
what kind of
after
blade
let
is
me
it?
say, what do you clean it with? Linseed oil. Once a month. You should really be cleaning it once a week
And they just sit here and waste time until she has enough time to get the brick out
to
and
work
rub.
a brick in the road, and then she just She does what barbarians do, folks.
And then they run off and be like, "We gotta
Kudos
find out."
on the female barbarian, though. You see so many. I feel like people love making female barbarians. I'm glad they stuck true to that.
Yeah. Kira, Kira's in the room. Like maybe I should talk to him. Forge,
Was
like
she in the new Fast and the Furious too?
Hoga's. Yeah, she's always
Yeah,
in there.
she getting paid
She's
out here.
yeah, she's
Dungeons
in.
and Dragons and Fast and Furious in the same year.
Yeah, she been since the first one. So
Yeah, but she was dead there for a couple, wasn't she?
yeah, she
Like
they
in like 5 and 6, and then they found her alive or some shit like that.
half of them do that. So that's why in the second part, top the facts team, they
Then
probably
they
all
did it
come
with
back to
the
life.
Japanese guy from Tokyo Drift too. Didn't he end up faking his death later on?
Yeah, so
Vin Diesel just be running out of fucking ideas, bruh.
they Goku, bro. They gotta go do that. So essentially, they on
Paul
a
Walker
journey.
didn't ever come back.
We have Paul Walker, RIP, but we come
What
in
if they
and
use his brother
they
to
could
carry
probably.
on? He looked like him.
By the way, this movie did get a 91% by Rotten Tomato. But then they
He
go and find Justice Smith because they need to figure out a way to break into Neverwinter because it's basically impenetrable.
and Simon's gimmick is that he is a horrible wizard.
Well, he just lacks confidence, but
Yes.
but he is a horrible wizard due to him lacking confidence.
But he's that wizard. Okay, here's the meta part of it. He's that wizard that always ends up in everybody's party. You're starting off for the day. You get into the heat of the battle. Everybody's rolling. This nigga didn't pick the right spell slots for the day. If you play D&D, you know after 5e spell slots got really weird, and you always have that person who wants to be a wizard, but they're not completely sure how spell slots work, and then they end up slotting the wrong spells at the completely wrong time, and it's just bad news all around. Very good. It was a good little. They showed that they knew what they were writing about with these little nuances. I liked it.
Yeah. Basically, they come meet him while he was stealing money because he's done figured out how to do tricks. He couldn't even do this earlier, but now he can.
Hey, he made it. He made it. He can make it smell like grass. You guys, fresh
Yeah,
cut grass.
yeah. And then he notices that Elgin and Holga is there, and he drops the money. And everybody, he's a scammer. And then they start beating.
He's nicking our baubles.
And then he switches the spell
Our
like Tora
baubles.
said.
He's nicking our baubles in bits. That was the
Yeah,
line,
yeah,
I do believe. He's
yeah.
nicking our baubles in bits.
So he's switching stuff around and doing all that to like try to make things work, but it's always like Tora said, it's in the wrong spot. So he ends up doing everything he doesn't want to do. He's going through he made a gravity thing where everybody hit the wall, and when he just wanted to make like what he wanted to do, Tora. It was he wanted
He
to
was
like
trying to. It was like he was trying to get out of the thing, but he ended up changing the gravity in the whole room and turning it upside down or some shit. It was classic wrong spell placement. He did not have the right spell slotted for the right job.
and then he almost got punched in the face. Then he went through the window, and then he went above, and he ended up in Holga's arm because they knew it was gonna happen because they know him. And then they like, hey, I need your help because we need a wizard to help us get into this Neverwinter. And of course, he mentions Doric, who,
The
yeah,
tiefling wild shifter.
yeah, because they are now at the war with Forge because Forge, like, they didn't do what I want, so I'm going to war with these people.
Yeah, and the Doric is associated with the Emerald Enclave, which are druidic rebels
Yeah.
in
And she,
opposition to Forge and his new lordship over Neverwinter.
yeah. And Simon is essentially like, we used to kind of talk, but I wasn't confident, so she
He
left me.
courted her.
Yeah, he caught her. And it didn't work because he wasn't confident. And
Because
she
she
kept,
is a fucking wild shifter, yo, and she has her spells slotted perfectly, folks. She got a worm, she's got a fly, she's got a fucking deer, an owlbear, folks. Her spells are slotted par perfection.
so they used her to basically get in the castle, and then Sophina basically was like, someone's here that's not supposed to be. Because she found
Oh,
out,
oh,
that's where they found out she a real witch.
yeah, yeah, I would say she
They had to
turns into
convince her, yeah.
she turns into a fly she turns into a fly to spy on them and find out where exactly the vault is.
Yeah. So,
And
but she found out she's a real witch, so she had to,
Safina's sensed the wild shifter magic. She was like, "Yo, That point and scream was crazy.
Yeah. By the way, it was two rich people that was coming, so they used that as a reason why they
Yes,
couldn't get in.
the two richest men in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, so they basically used that as a reason for
You
why
probably played Baldur's Gate at
I do.
least.
I love. I
Yes,
do
I
love.
was
I
gonna
love.
say
I love
a lot
Baldur's
of
Gate.
you'd be a lot of people don't know that Baldur's Gate is even related to Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of people just know that Baldur's Gate. They played the game with their friends on PlayStation 2 back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
But
yeah.
essentially, they convinced her basically they at war, and she was like, "I don't trust humans, but I
What did
hate
you
him."
say the actress's name was that played Doric?
Her name is Sophia Lillis.
Gotta follow her on Instagram. Tell you what.
And
They did a
essentially,
really good job with the tiefling though. The horns weren't too overdone. I mean,
yeah,
it was nice. Tiefling with wood elves, folks.
yeah.
Classic switcheroo backstory.
And of course, like we said, we can speed through it. They meet Zinc. They go had to go. Well, at first they had to go find they
Zinc,
went
who is the Thayan Paladin, folks. A fucking Thayan Paladin. What are we doing? But that's the beauty of Dungeons and Dragons. Anybody can be any class they want, regardless of their race.
yeah, but essentially they got to him by talking to all the dead people because they got three questions they can ask all the dead people. They went through all these kind of random families because everybody just randomly passed through.
Five questions they can ask them before they die again, never to be reawakened.
Yeah, so basically they just asked all these ridiculous questions. They had, and then they only needed one, so then they had to end up asking weird questions.
Yeah, and then the last dude, they only asked him four questions, so he never got to die. He's still stuck sitting up in the graveyard. That's so fucked up. I hope somebody came by and asked him a question at some point.
And he just talking to himself.
I was about to say, just waiting for somebody to ask you a question.
And yeah, that's when they met Zinc, who is like this dude is OP. Cause
Yeah, he's a
Sophina's
damn paladin, bro.
so and Sophina's basically sent these super assassins that end up killing all the people that let them go, which was a badass
Don't
move.
forget about the chunky. Oh, we haven't got to the chunky dragon yet, but
That's basically when it's coming because they go to this spot. I forgot what the spot name is.
yes, they have to go to the Underdark
Yeah,
to get
Underdog.
the helmet of disjunction.
Yeah, so Simon can break through, even though Simon told
Even
Elgin
though
that.
Simon's not good at attuning to magical objects, he's got shit rolls, folks.
and
No
Elgin like,
proficiency.
we don't care, it don't matter. Just go do
It's plan A. We're coming for plan B if this don't work.
it, which is his whole gimmick.
Typical bard gimmick, yo.
And they basically they're with Zinc, and he basically like OP. so,
Yeah.
so so they go. It's like no one goes to the under dark because it's impossible to win, and they just walk through it. And then the assassins came. He like, don't worry, I got all of them, and he owns all of them. But he's like, we gotta get out because they don't stay dead.
Yeah, they're saying so. Of course, they're going to revive after killed. Ipso facto necromancio. You get it.
Yeah,
But
so
then they run into the chunky dragon.
they do.
I cannot remember the dragon's name, but it is a fat dragon, folks. Like that dragon's been eating good. He made
Yeah,
a new home in the Underdark and was out here chowing down.
he did, and then essentially they just the dragon trying to eat them, and they get away. Um, I think the dragon got stuck, didn't it?
Yeah, it got stuck, and then
Because it was fat.
then the bard he had the idea of the with it being salt water, the fumes building up in the little cave. Frickin' they ducked underwater and had Simon do the one good spell he was good at, which is the lame little fire finger like finger candle thing. So he did that when they went underwater. The dragon finally managed to get enough breath to breathe fire, and then blew up the freaking room they were in so they could swim to the surface.
Yeah, and then
Because
so
this
they
was
get to,
all underground. They were in the Underdark, folks. I think
yeah,
we'd said that at the beginning, though, I do
yeah.
believe.
So then they all find out that they got the tomb, and everybody like, we ready. And then Simon like, I don't know how to do this, and then they all said you're a liar. Then he like, we're all failures in our own way, but and I'm the biggest one and told the sad story, and then everybody was like, oh, I feel bad. Then he
They
figured it
sat
out.
on the rock together to
Yeah, they
think
said,
of a new plan.
and then they kind of figured out what to do. Simon had to figure it out through his little memory thing. What's it called, Tor? When he had to go in the past and
Oh, he had to attune with the goddamn. He had to try and attune with the helmet to actually be able to equip it because you got to roll for attunement.
yeah, and he kept failing because he kept seeing his father, right? Yeah,
No, it was his great
great
grandfather.
grandfather. You called him a
Yeah,
failure and all that.
and
So they was basically like, screw it, let's go here anyway, even though he ain't got it yet.
yeah, they were like, we're just good. They actually they worked out because okay, we I think we missed it, but Holga stopped and talked to her freaking dwarf lover that had left her and found
Oh
another, and
yeah,
they got she took his walking stick, which happened to be a thither hither stick, which was that was a good they got the hallmarks down. They were like, we gotta put the iconic items in the right place. So yes, the walking stick that he didn't like using because he doesn't do brambling without Holga was a hither thither stick, which
yes,
is used to teleport from one place to another.
yeah. So that's going to get the vault now, and Forge is having an event.
They really elaborately they put the hither thither. They put one portal on the back of a painting that they then sneak into the convoy of treasure that's going into the vault. So that way they get the portal into the vault. They can then use the second blast from the hither thither to make a door for them to walk through into the vault. Ipso facto, they can then rob the vault.
Yeah, but of course, I got they get in, they do their little plan. Simon is at the bottom. He sees his great grandfather. And he overcomes himself, which we find out it's
Swings
himself.
on that nigga.
Yeah, and he like about time, and then he becomes himself, and like that's what I've been waiting for.
He
So
finally
now he's
attunes to the helm of disjunction.
yeah. So he had to be confident, and then we also see Elgin Edgin. I keep saying Elgin Edgin meet his daughter, but it's not his daughter. Sophina. It's like a trap set for him because they knew he was gonna go for her instead of doing.
Yep, so that also plays into the helmet of disjunction. The vault that it nullifies the magic on so they could get the treasure wasn't even the vault where the treasure was at. It was a trap.
Yeah. And then they got then Edgin,
Everyone gets captured.
yeah, and then Edgin convinces her to do the what's
the
sunrise game,
sun ga- the sun games.
high sun game. Where they have to get through this like little maze type thing.
A revolving maze that goes up and down full of many, many creatures. There was even a mimic in there. The only thing I figured there'd be a mind flayer in there, but we didn't get a mind flayer in the movie, folks, unfortunately. But we did get one of the little holograph panther thingies, which was cool.
Yeah. They got through it.
The mimic was there though. As soon as I saw that freaking chest open and it had a tongue, I was like, "That's what I'm talking about."
they got to the boat before Forge did, as they got escaped the arena. And Forge used Kira as a hostage, and Holga hits him
He
with a
pulled out the
potato.
knife.
Yeah, and Hogan hits him with a potato in the face. By the way, that slow motion was hilarious when it hit his
It
lip.
was the way it exploded.
His lip just quivered. I'm like, oh, y'all really hit him with a potato for real because his lip quivered. I'm like, you don't fake that. Just imagine being an actor and you had how many times you had to shoot that scene of somebody throwing a potato at
Yeah,
your
I just had to get a potato long statue time and time again. You have to make this face. We gotta run it again.
just keep getting hit in the face with it's one of them light potatoes. So I'm pretty sure they didn't hit you with a whole potato, but
Yeah, at least hopefully they cooked it beforehand because getting hit with a raw
it
potato
looked
would.
it
You have a
no.
black eye after the first one, if we're gonna be honest.
Yeah, I think it had to be like cooked so it explode easy because ain't no way to hit him with a raw potato in the face over there. That man have a concussion
I
out
was
here.
about to say to get CTE from potatoes is crazy.
Then they had to throw it harder for it to explode like it did. So it had
Yeah,
to
I
be
was gonna say for it to, you can't see, man. We CG'd it to where the point where Jonah Hill and Lauren London didn't have to kiss. Hopefully, this man didn't get really smacked with a potato that many times.
But using the hither to the stat, Simon opens a portal onto the Forge's hot balloon. Well, I open the portal, but they get Kira.
Yeah,
And then Sophina turned everybody into like zombies and never won. So that what she did.
And the one half of the portal ended up getting moved because, of course, Ford was stealing the treasure from the guys. That was his plan the whole time. Freaking Sophina was trying to pull some Thayan magic and turn the whole city into fucking undead to serve the Red Wizards or some jazz, I do believe. But yeah,
Yeah, they used Simon opened the portal on the Forge's hot air balloon while opening the second portal from the boat so that the treasure on the boat would rain down on Neverwinter, distract the people and pull them out of the arena after they confronted the
and
defense.
fulfill the promise he made to the to Zinkin.
Yeah. And then like I said, they end up jumping Sophina.
Yeah, they pack her out. She ends, and they finish her with a sick ass owlbear combo.
It was amazing.
And I just love the freaking shout out to them. The Tiefling Wild Shaper had just happened to slot in owlbear. Come on, let's go.
It was a nasty combo. And then like I said, they got Forge who was trying to escape. They kind of ruined his plans. Now he's in the woods running, trying to get help. And then we see that's when he sees Zinc. They got him and put him in jail. And then the fun, then where is
A year later, folks, we get to his first parole hearing,
where is
and
Jonathan?
who's running late? But good old Jonathan. Jonathan, the Eagle Man, is running late again, folks. And what does Forge think? He's like, if Edgin and Holga can pull it off, so can I.
So
But
they
guess
still have,
what?
they have the window thing and they
They
bricked it up.
bricked it off. They bricked off the fucking windows. Poor Dargan just got smacked into a wall.
Yo, and, like they kept the
Oh,
window,
poor Jonathan.
they kept the window thing too.
They did. They literally just bricked it up.
Oh,
Window
we
seal
forgot
is still there in the
they put the
curtain.
little cufflets on Sophina so she could die.
Yeah, they put the cufflets on Sophina before
I
she
forgot
got the
about that.
owlbear beat down.
Yeah, so I forgot about
They
that. One.
Kira used the used the pendant of invisibility, and then she ended up sneaking the cuffs on Sophina's fist.
Yeah, so
I
that's
mean,
how they
on
be.
her hand.
I did forget that. I didn't want to
She
forget
got
that
she
part
got pieced up by the owlbear.
because now she can actually get killed if she get the
Yeah, she
cuff.
didn't have no magic, so she was just a regular ass chick with head tattoos.
But yeah, poor Jonathan got. He thought it was a window there because it had the whole window outline.
They still had the curtains up. There were still curtains in front of it.
And they knocked him out, and then we got Edging and everybody back to their Dungeon and Dragon journey.
Oh yeah, we also the tablet of reawakening that Edgin was going to use on his wife. Holga ended up
Oh
getting
yeah, hold
Holga ends up getting stabbed by the Red Wizard's blade, which the tablet of reawakening is the only way that you can survive that or be brought back from that. And he decided, since his wife had never Kira had never really known his wife, but Holga had been there all her life, so they used the tablet of reawakening to save Holga.
yeah, and Kira was like sad when she saw Hoga
And,
was passing.
in my head canon, Simon then knocks down Doric. He got a second chance, folks.
He's confident now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
He
they saved
used his
Hoga.
magic in all the right ways.
But that's Dungeons and Dragons. Honor Among Us. Keep it 99 straight
Thieves
to stream.
among honor among thieves.
I want to play Valkyrie. Play Among Us with me, even though I hate that game, but I'll play with you.
Do people still play Among Us? Valkyrie, play Valorant with us.
100%. I'll play. I'll play. I'll play Valor. I ain't played in a long time though. I'll play
She might yell at us.
it. Eat my. Y'all appreciate Toro. Can they find you?
AfroCopy765 on all platforms. Of course, catch me on Overall 99 Media, being an Overall 99 scumbag. You know the vibe. Something flagrant, something inflammatory.
Yeah. These two will be out. Dungeons and Dragons and Shazam will probably be out either Saturday night or Sunday morning. So I'll let you know. I'm recording both tonight. Make it make sense. If this is out before that, make it make sense. Either go check it out either on the page after this or
Tune into the stream.
yeah. So be here for that. I don't know if it's before or
Yeah, I
after.
would say either way.
Whenever I get time to make this thumbnail and edit, so that's when it's gonna be. And remember, the Red Wizards, what they are. Shout out
All
to
my
Rennie.
homies hate things.
Yeah. So shout out to Rennie Gaddis, amazing streamer. She's hilarious. But Tori, you think they know us yet?
I don't know, but if they do, hopefully they will sometime. Maybe they'll stop asking that question.
Yeah, one day, but until then, it's
Who are these niggas?